The call from the stars, the crystalline towers of music, Estra Prime glittered. Under the light of twin blue suns, their once perfect geometries now shattered, and broken smoke billowed from countless fires across what had been the jewel of Astrian civilization, a planet-wide metropolis of art, science, and harmony. Now was a graveyard. Commander Lyra stood at the remains of the central communication spire, her translucent skin pulsing with distress patterns that sent ripples of deep purple across her slender form. The Astrians were empaths, and artists, philosophers, and scientists. Not warriors, never warriors, Commander. The emergency transmitter is ready, said. Technician saw in his own bioluminescent patterns dim with exhaustion and fear. But the energy reserves will only power one transmission. Lyra nodded. 3 days ago, the void harvesters had appeared without warning, massive obsidian ships that descended on Aria Prime. Methodical precision, their attack wasn't chaotic or driven by hatred, was systematic, efficient. The void harvesters were harvesting Arrayans, themselves capturing thousands for purposes unknown. The Galactic Council has ignored our previous distress calls. Lyra said, her melodic voice strained. They claim we're too far from established trade routes to warrant immediate assistance. Then who will we contact? Soren asked. Lyra's bioluminescence shifted to a resolute blue earth. Soren's patterns flashed with alarm. The quarantine world. Commander clears throat. Contact with humans is forbidden by council law. They're classified as Class 5 deaths. We have no choice, Lyra replied. The council has abandoned us. The harvesters will return in 36 hours to continue their collection. The humans are our only hope. Lyra had studied the classified reports on humans. Species evolved on a high-gravity, radiation-based planet filled with predators. Their bodies were dense with muscle, their reactions unnaturally fast, their tolerance for pain beyond comprehension. Most disturbing was their psychology, aggressive, territorial, and fiercely protective. Exactly what the Astrians needed now. Lyra placed her six-fingered hand on the communication panel. This is Commander Lyra of Estra Prime, transmitting on all frequencies to any Earth vessel. Our world is under attack by entities we call the Void Harvesters. They are systematically destroying our settlements and taking our people. The Galactic Council has abandoned us. Paused, emotions threatening to overwhelm her voice. No contact is forbidden. I know your world is under quarantine, but please. We have children, dear families. We cannot fight. We need your help. The coordinates for Estra Prime followed the transmission. Lar added final words that she hoped would reach humans on a level the council never understood. You are our last hope. Please answer our SOS. The message launched into space, racing toward a forbidden sector that most civilized species avoided. As promised, the transmitter lasted exactly 15 minutes before failing. Now we wait, Lyra said, though deep inside a new emotion flickered in her patterns. Something ancient Australians would have recognized as hope. Admiral Elena Ray stood motionless as the alien message played again. The soft musical voice, speaking perfect English, echoed through the United Earth Defense Force Command Center. 50 pairs of human eyes watched the holographic display showing the coordinates of a world called Estra Prime. Play it once more, ordered Director Chin, her face grim. For the third time, Commander Lyra's desperate pleas filled the room. You are our last, oh please answer ours. A signal was intercepted by our deep space monitoring station on Europa 4 hours ago. Admiral Rice said, we've confirmed. It's authentic. How do they know to broadcast in English? Asked General Kovacs. They didn't, replied Dr. Singh, the EDF's cyanobiologist. Their transmission was in standard Galactic Common Translation Systems. Converted. It nodded. Humanity had been monitoring the galactic communities' communications for decades, ever since they discovered the quarantine satellites around the solar system 30 years ago, the day Earth learned it was not alone and that the rest of the galaxy considered humans too dangerous to join them. The Australians are a peaceful species, Dr. Singh continued. Their evolution on a low-gravity world with minimal environmental threats resulted in a society that never developed significant military capability. Rise pointed to another hologram showing black streamlined ships attacking crystal structures, and these void harvesters, unknown, Dr. Singh admitted, not in any communications we intercepted before. Director Chin stood, her tall frame casting a long shadow. The question before this council is simple. Do we break quarantine to answer this distress? General Kovacs frowned. Quarantine is enforced by automated defenses. Even with our advances in technology, we could lose ships. Some ships rise. Corrected. Not all. Been waiting for this moment for 30 years, said Director Chin. The Shadow Fleet all built for a first contact scenario. Now we have a species directly asking for our help. She walked to the window overlooking the massive shipyard where Earth's secret fleet waited, while warships larger than anything humanity had built before hovered in their docking bays. Black, sleek and deadly design based on fragmented knowledge of galactic technology combined with humanity's unique approach to warfare. The Galactic Council labeled us Deathworlders. Chin continued. They feared what humans might do if allowed among the stars. This is our chance to show them what humans actually do when faced with injustice. We protect the innocent, Rai said, completing her thought. The vote took less than 5 minutes, unanimous. 2 hours later, Admiral Ray stood on the bridge of the East Nemesis, the fleet flagship. The view screen. She watched as the other 11 ships powered up their engines, their massive forms breaking free from Earth's gravity. Commander Santiago's eye addressed her second in command. Ships report ready. Crew morale is high. They should be, Santiago replied. Humanity is about to make history. Do you think we can break through the quarantine defenses? Ray smiled. The quarantine was designed to keep in a species they feared, but they've never seen what humans do when someone asks for our help. Dr. Alvarez, the fleet's lead strategist, joined them at the view screen. The course to Australia Prime has been plotted. The journey will take 3 days at maximum FTL. The Australians sent their message 4 days ago. Santiago noted concern in his voice. Then we'd better hurry, I said. She pressed the shipwide communication button. Hands prepare for departure. Today, humanity answers a call that no one else. What? Today we show the galaxy who we really are. As the Nemesis led the fleet toward the edge of the solar system, the automated quarantine satellites detected the approaching ships and began to activate their defenses. The Shadow Fleet accelerated. Earth had responded, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. Quarantine satellites appeared as tiny silver dots against the blackness of space. For 30 years, these automated sentinels had kept humanity confined to their solar system, following the distant orders of a galactic council that had never actually met a human. Commander Santiago stood on the bridge of the Nemesis, watching the main screen. As the distance close range to quarantine line 10,000 km announced, the tactical officer Admiral Rice's voice came through the fleet-wide communication system. All ships activate defense systems, prepare for quarantine response. Santiago turned to Dr. Alvarez, who was studying the data flowing across her console. What do you think, Doctor? Will your predictions? Oh, Alvarez nodded confidently. The quarantine satellites were designed to track and disable single ships attempting to leave the system. Never faced a coordinated fleet. Using our countermeasures, the first warning shot flashed across the Nemesis bow pulse of energy designed to disable engines rather than destroy. The quarantine wasn't meant to kill humans, just keep them contained. Counter measures deployed. Santiago ordered from each of the 12 ships. Smaller drones launched into space, broadcasting false engine signatures. The quarantine satellites targeting systems suddenly had to track not 12 ships but over 100 potential targets. Formation Delta rides. Commanded Nemesis takes point. The human fleet shifted, forming a wedge with a flagship at its tip. The satellites fired again, hitting 2 of the drones, which exploded in brief flashes of light. They're adaptive, Alvarez observed, learning our patterns faster than expected. Santiago smiled, but not fast enough. The Nemesis accelerated, drawing fire from the nearest satellites. Its advanced shield technology reverse engineered from fragments of alien craft that had ventured too close to Earth over the decades, absorbed the impacts. All ships rise, ordered, execute breakpoint protocol. Now imperfect synchronization. The human fleet suddenly scattered in 12 different directions, each ship accelerating to maximum speed. Quarantine system designed to create a net of overlapping fire couldn't track them all. Santiago gripped the command rail as the Nemesis shuddered under satellite fire. Shield 70% maintain course. Rise said calmly, we're almost through. On the other side of the solar system, in the Galactic Council's automated monitoring station, alarms began to sound. The AI system registered multiple quarantine breaches but found the data impossible to process. No species had ever attempted to break a council quarantine. Was unthinkable. The AI filed the incident as a system malfunction and scheduled a maintenance check for the next standard cycle. Meanwhile, the Nemesis pushed through the final line of satellites, its shields flickering under the strain. Behind it, 10 other ships made it through at different points. Only the E's Valiant had been disabled, drifting with damaged engines just inside the quarantine line. The Valiant reports all crew safe, Alvarez said. Their engines are damaged, but life support is stable. Ray nodded. Signal them to return to Earth for repairs. The rest of us continue. As the quarantine satellites faded into the distance, the 11 remaining ships of humanity's fleet regrouped. Repair drones swarmed over their hulls, fixing minor damage. Ships report ready for FTL, Santiago announced. Course to Estra Prime is locked in. Ray stood in the center of the bridge, her face illuminated by the glow of distant Stars that no human had been allowed to visit until now. Send one last message to Earth, she ordered. Tell them the quarantine is broken. Santiago looked at the view, scream where the coordinates for Australia Prime pulse. Steadily, do you think we'll make it in time? We have to rise, replied. Humanity has waited too long for this moment to fail now. Dear Alvarez joined them, her tablet showing the translated distress call from Commander Lyra. The Australians don't know what they've done, she said quietly, by calling us. They've changed everything for them and for us. Plot the fastest course to Estra Prime, Ray ordered. We're about to show the galaxy what happens when you ask humans for help. The fleet engines flared, brilliant blue, and in 11 flashes of light, humanity broke free from its prison and raced toward the stars. Deathworlders were loose, Deathworlders unleashed. The human fleet dropped out of FTL at the edge of the Astrian system. The main screen on the Nemesis bridge showed a beautiful crystalline world and the black void harvester ships orbiting it like hungry predators. Scan complete, announced the sensor officer. We count 17 harvester vessels in orbit. Multiple ground forces detected. Colony settlements are mostly destroyed, but we're picking up survivor groups in the northern hemisphere. Commander Santiago studied the tactical display. The harvesters haven't noticed us yet. We're outside their sensor range. Admiral Rice nodded. Good, Dr. Alvarez. Your assessment. Alvarez pointed to the largest concentration of survivors. This appears to be the main Astrian refugee camp. Their energy signatures match what we know about their species. Crystalline-based biolumination. The area is surrounded by harvester ground forces, but they haven't attacked yet. They're harvesting, Rice said grimly. Taking their time. Santiago felt a cold anger building inside him. Orders, sir. Prepare a rescue team. Commander Santiago, you'll lead. Dr. Alvarez will accompany you to establish first contact. The fleet will remain here until your team confirms the situation. Within an hour, a stealth shovel carrying Santiago Alvarez and a dozen Marines descended through Estrella Prime's atmosphere using the planet's crystalline formations to mask their approach. They landed 3 km from the Astrian camp in a grove of translucent tree-like formations. Stay alert, Santiago ordered. As they moved, the Marines in sleek combat armor spread into a protective formation around the scientist. We don't know how the Australians will react to us. Alvarez checked her translator device. According to the data we've gathered, the Australians are naturally empathic. Their biology includes a bioluminescent communication system that reveals their emotional state. Let's hope they don't panic when they see us, Santiago said. They approached the camp cautiously. Through his binoculars, Santiago could see the Australians, slender beings with translucent skin that glowed with shifting patterns of light. They moved with a graceful lightness that suggested adaptation to lower gravity. Suddenly, one of the Australian lookouts spotted them. Pattern of bright flashes spread across the camp as the alarm was raised. Hold position, Santiago ordered. Dear Alvarez, send the greeting message. Alvarez activated her translator, which broadcast a simple message in galactic common. We come from Earth. We received your distress call. We are here to help. For several long minutes, nothing happened. Then a single figure emerged from the camp and walked slowly toward Them as it got closer, Santiago could see it was a female Estrian, her skin patterns pulsing with what seemed like a mixture of fear and hope. Commander Lyra, Alvarez whispered, recognizing her from the message. Lyra stopped 10 m away, studying the humans with luminous eyes. You came, she said finally, her voice translated through Alvarez's device. You actually came. Santiago stepped forward, removing his helmet to show his face. Commander Santiago of the Earthship Nemesis, we received your SOS. Lyra skin flashed with bright patterns. Deathworlders, the Council said you were too dangerous, too violent to be part of Galactic Society. Been called worse, Santiago replied with a small smile. Our people are dying, Lyra said, her voice breaking the void. Harvesters, they're taking us harvesting our crystalline organs. Alvarez stepped forward. We know we've detected their ships. We're here to stop them. Lyra's skin dimmed with disbelief. But the harvesters are many. Their technology is advanced. How can you fight them when the Galactic Council itself won't even try? Santiago looked back at the Marines behind him, strong, determined, trained to face impossible odds, because that's what humans do. We fight when others can't or won't. Why we evolved on a death world, as you call it. Our planet tried to kill us every day, so we learned to survive. For the first time, a pattern of true hope flickered across Lyra's skin. The harvesters will return to this camp tomorrow. They'd been systematically taking 50 of our people every day. Not tomorrow, Santiago said firmly. Not ever again. He raised his hand, signaling the Nemesis in orbit. Seconds later, the ground shook as the first harvester ship exploded in the sky. Above, the humans had made first contact, and now they would show the galaxy exactly why deaths were feared. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from 27 species shouted over each other as emergency alerts flashed on the main display screen. Order, I demand order, called High Counselor Vex, his gray scales bristling with stress. His species, the Draconians, had led the council for millennia, priding themselves on maintaining galactic peace through careful regulation of dangerous elements. The quarantine breach was unprecedented. The humans have broken containment, announced Security Director Zoe. Their fleet destroyed the quarantine satellites and is now engaged in combat with Void Harvester forces in the Astrian system. A wave of fearful murmurs swept through the chamber. Most species knew of humans only through classified reports. Violent apex predators from a high-gravity death world who had somehow developed space travel before being quarantined. How is this possible? Demanded Representative Mari of the Trading Worlds. The quarantine was supposed to be impenetrable because Vex replied coldly. No species has ever been foolish enough to attempt to break a council quarantine. The consequences are too severe. Observer Tala, a junior member from a species that had suffered recent border conflicts, stepped forward. Unlike the other council members in their ceremonial robes, Tala wore the simple uniform of the Observer Court. Perhaps, Tala suggested quietly, we should ask why the humans broke quarantine after 30 years of compliance. The chamber fell silent. Vex glared at the young observer. Explain, Tala activated a data screen. The humans responded to this distress call from Estra Prime, a call that was also received by Council emergency channels. 3 times and ignored the recorded message from Commander Lyra played for the stunned council. When it finished, Tala continued. The Astrians requested assistance against Void Harvester attack. 6 standard months ago, the council voted not to intervene because Estra Prime was too remote to justify resource allocation. Uncomfortable silence followed that standard procedure for frontier colonies. Vex said, defensively, we can't protect every remote outpost, but the humans could. Tala replied, they broke through a quarantine that has held them prisoner for 3 decades, traveled across half the galaxy, and engaged a harvester fleet that outnumbered them all to help a species they've never met. Security Director Zoe interrupted, we just received visual feed from Estra Prime. The council needs to see this. The main screen lit up with footage of human Marines fighting alongside Australian defenders. The humans moved with shocking speed and strength, enduring injuries that would kill most species, continuing to fight while bleeding from multiple wounds. Most disturbing to the council was the precision of human attacks. This was not blind violence, this was tactical efficiency that spoke of a species that had mastered warfare. Ancestors preserve us, whispered Representative Mike. Can do this to the harvesters, what could they do to us? Tala zoomed the footage to show a human medic treating injured Astrian children, working gently despite hands that could easily crush their fragile crystalline forms. Perhaps the question, Tala suggested, is why we fear a species that does this when asked for help, yet we tolerate the void harvesters who harvest sentient beings. Before Vex could respond, an aide rushed into the chamber. A counselor were receiving transmissions from 14 other frontier worlds, all reporting void harvester incursions that the council